Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to Art 192, Digital Imaging with Adobe Photoshop for the spring semester 2022. Today we will continue watching videos on different techniques regarding restoration of damaged photographs, restoration, restoring, whatever you want to term, however you want to term it. What I will post today, though, is to explain to you what is expected of you on your final assignment, since it is a retouch, restore a damaged photograph to its original condition or better than original condition. That's the goal, that you make it look as good, if not better, than the original. The first thing, first point of order is to, where do you get your photographs? If you have personal family photographs that you can photograph or you have access to a scanner, that would be my first choice. I think something that you can invest or have a personal interest in, you will be able to invest your time, I think much better than just grabbing one off the internet. But there are various places you can go on the internet to get those images. So let's go over a few of them right now. One is to do a basic Google search. And that's what I did. I just went into Google and looked at damaged images. Now you're going to see some where they have the before and after images. I want you, if you do use one of these, make sure that it is a large image. And I want to be able to see the steps that you've taken from beginning to end, so that when you turn in your final project, make sure that it is a Photoshop file with all of the layers in there, so that I can see how you went from the beginning to end and how you arrived at your final project. Okay. Make sure that the background image is the original image, so I can compare and contrast the damaged photograph with your final image. So, as I said, the first place to go to look for images is do a simple Google search. I typed in damaged images, but what you want to do is you want to select the little tools button here. And you'll notice that when you select that, there are options down here regarding usage of copyrights, time, type, color, whatever. I want you to, over to the left, make sure that, because by default it's selected any size. I don't want any size. I want you to select a large image. And you'll notice that it changes, that we don't have all of the same images when I do that. So I'm going to go ahead and again, I'm going to select tools again, select size, select large images. You want the largest images possible. And then you can click on one. And if you think this is something that you feel comfortable retouching, it's a reasonable size, not ideal, but it's reasonable size, then just select it and right click on it, and you can save image as on your computer. Okay, so that's one place to go. Second place to go right here is to go to go to, Pinterest is one of the places to go, but we'll look at that next. But the next one is to go to creativecommons.org. Okay, so that's, if I were to add that here, and I go into here to go to Creative Commons, CREATIVE, Commons. I'm going to look at Creative Commons images. We'll look at that first. Okay, see how I arrived at that. And then if you just go to their website, and what we want to do is we want to use and remix. That's what we're doing. And then what we want to do over to the right here is we want to search the commons. We want to find photographs on their website that they will allow us to use. And I just put in here damaged photos. Okay, and this is what popped up. Now there's this is one that's a pretty good one that you could download. We could go back to search results. They're all pretty decent. where there's water damage, where there's spots and stains, dust and creases and things of that nature, you can go in and you can retouch and restore. Okay, lots of good, not lots, but there are some good ones here. The other one, here's one that's, basically from 50s, 60s. Not much in the way of tears and rips and things like that, but you'll notice along the bottom, it looks like there's some damage that was done here that would take a time to retouch. To actually restore the color in this would not take long at all. This is where you would spend the bulk of your time. But anyway, that's the second place that you can go to. So that was here. That's again, that's Creative Commons. That's your second source. Your third source is the Library of Congress. So again, if you want to, let's go ahead and go back to here, and I'm going to type in here under search. I'm in Google right now. So if I do Library of Congress, my search was Library of Congress photos. But if you just simply go to Prints and Photographs online catalog, there are lots of possibilities here. Most of them are not copyright protected. They're available for you and everyone else to use at your discretion, without worry about infringing on someone's copyrights. So the one that I picked right here is a good one. It's a Civil War photograph, and it has some cracks near the middle, but not on his face. The photograph is extremely dark and kind of dingy. That can be brought back to life. Some of the other distortions in the upper left-hand corner here could be, it looks like it's maybe water damage. I'm not sure. Could be brought back, and some other smudges and that sort of thing would be useful. Okay, it would be a useful source, very useful. Here's one of their library collections. So for example, if I were to just select this one, let's go ahead and click on it and bring it larger. This would be a good one to retouch. It's a little light overall. It needs more contrast. It definitely has lots of dust and scratches that are kind of tedious to remove. It's a little bit light at the bottom, so that needs to be darkened overall. Not overall, but just the bottom part there. It's a little bit faded at the bottom, and you'd have a pretty good image there. The important part about using, or the best thing about using images from the Library of Congress is that if you look right here, you can get a small JPEG file. It's good for sending to someone on the internet, an email. But you'll also notice here we have a TIFF file of 1.5 megabytes. That would be the one that you would want to download. And especially if we go back to the other one, some of them are considerably larger. If you look at this one here, the TIFF file for this is 98 megabytes. So that's a big file. Okay, the bigger file, the better. When you're working with really small files, it's going to be difficult to retouch, especially that you need to be working with these images at between 200 and 300 pixels per inch. I would like the images to be no smaller than 4 by 5, 5 by 7. Ideal size, if you're going to scan your own, would be maybe 8 by 10. Okay, so here are various sources and description of the final assignment. Again, turn it into Google Drive, your original file, if it's too large for Canvas, and you can also turn it in on Canvas if it will accept it. But sometimes the files on Canvas, if they're too large, it won't take them. Any questions? And then we can continue with our videos. Yes? No? Okie doke then. Let me go ahead here. And here's another one we're going to watch today, right here. Again, this is by Neil Rhodes, and it's just another one of his series of restoring black and white photos. That's another thing before we start. Before I start showing you this series of videos, is that the image that you choose can be black and white or color. If you choose a color one, you can turn it into black and white. If you choose a black and white one, when you're done with it, you can colorize it if you wish. You don't have to. The important thing is to restore the condition of the photograph. And also don't forget, elements in the photograph